Cars and bikes sharing the road? Is it a recipe for disaster? Stay tuned. Bill and I have a great conversation coming up. Join us. This is Libertarian Viewpoint, and I'm your host, Sue Jeffers. Libertarianism is all about liberty. Liberty is the exercise of freedom that doesn't impinge on the rights of others. We have all heard the constant drum roll of government solutions. The purpose of this show is to allow you to see for yourself why non-government solutions are a better alternative. Today's guest is an old regular now. Bill Glahn, welcome to the show.
Thanks for inviting me back.
I am so excited to have you back. Last time we were here, we talked about renewable energy. This time, we're going to take a step into a whole new direction that I bet a lot of the viewers haven't seen. And before we get started, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I used to work for Governor Tim Pawlenty as the director of the Office of Energy Security. Now that we have a new governor, I'm back in the private sector as an energy consultant and enjoying it very much.
Governor Dayton didn't want you?
Apparently not.
All right, so today we're going to talk about something called complete streets.
Yes.
And your average person has no idea what this is. It was actually signed into law by Governor Tim Pawlenty.
He did. We have signed into law a directive to our state's Department of Transportation to implement what's called complete streets. And who would be in favor of incomplete streets? We want to get to where we want to go. But the idea behind complete streets is that our roads and our streets have been designed to accommodate automobile traffic. And what complete streets would like to see is a redesign of our roads and streets to accommodate not just automobiles, but also bicycles and pedestrians as well.
They are bound and determined to get us out of our cars, aren't they?
It's part of an effort to reduce automobile driving and all of what they perceive as the ills and the downsides of that. So trying to get people out of automobiles and walking and bicycling and living a more healthy lifestyle is the idea behind it.
I don't want to give up my car. I love the freedom of my car to be able to go where I want to go. I love to walk. I walk around my neighborhood all the time. Never been hit by a car once. I ride my bike. I like to ride my bike. But when I go to work, there is no bus route that will take me to work. There is no light rail transit that will take me to work. I have to drive my car, and I want that freedom. Why do these people want to shove this alternative lifestyle down our throat?
Well, they have a different balance of what's important than you do, Sue. So they think that organizing society, organizing our transportation grid is really the be-all and end-all. And if that causes problems in other aspects of somebody's life, that's all in sacrifice to the greater good as they see it.
Now, explain to the viewers what a directive is.
Well, as it's been done here, is given instructions to the Department of Transportation at the state level to implement this complete streets policy. And this is a concept that's part of urban planning and transportation policy. It's not just at the state level. If we weren't doing it here, we would be directed to do it by the federal level. It's now part of federal transportation policy as well, not through any law that was passed by Congress, but the Secretary of Transportation, Ray LaHood, has declared the end to favoring motorized transportation in our nation's transportation policy. And he has directed the department and then on to the state departments of transportation to implement complete streets. That is, that we have to treat pedestrians and bicycles the same as we would automobile traffic in designing and rebuilding and building our streets and roads.
Do they miss the part about the more you have bicyclists and pedestrians in the same area as cars, that there are going to be more bicyclists and pedestrians that get hit?
Well, that's common sense. And I drove over here in an automobile that has a curb weight of 2 tons, and I weigh less than 200 pounds. So in an encounter between me and a passenger vehicle, I know who's going to come out ahead. But the advocates, the car. the advocates of complete streets actually make the claim that by mixing pedestrians, bicycles, and cars in the same physical space on the street, we're actually going to improve safety. And how they make this claim is they reduce speed limits. They reduce the flow of cars. That could be done without complete streets. You could continue to ban pedestrians and bicycles from the roadway and just lower the speed limit down to 5-10 miles an hour, and you will improve safety. The same thing with left turns. They say, well, we're going to reduce accidents from left turns, and they do this by banning left turns. Well, you could ban left turns without putting a bike lane on a road. But the idea is that somehow safety is going to be improved, and safety in their minds for pedestrians and bicyclists. But just logic would tell you, common sense would tell you, you mix those three forms of transportation in the same space, and there's going to be accidents, there's going to be tragedies. But they claim up and down that this actually improves safety, and the improvement comes by slowing down cars, reducing the number of cars in a given space, and so forth.
They like to use this phrase that just cracks me up. Traffic calming.
Traffic calming. The traffic circles. I don't like the traffic circles, but that's my personal choice. But
mine too.
Traffic circles, the medians, and all kinds of other devices to slow down cars. Calming is just slowing down traffic, reducing the carrying capacity of a particular stretch of road, and all in the service of trying to encourage people. If we make it difficult for you to get from point A to point B in your automobile, then you'll leave your automobile at home, and you'll walk, and you'll ride your bike to the store or to work or wherever you need to go.
Well, first of all, do they know we live in Minnesota, and 6 months of the year we're buried under snow and ice? Did they take that into consideration?
They seem to have ignored that part of it, or figure, well, we'll design the system for 9 months out of the year and just tough it out the other 3 months. They're really trying to recreate a system that you might see in Amsterdam in Europe, or Portland, Oregon, or places like that have much milder climates than we have here, and that they don't get the snow and the ice and just the bitter cold that we have. So I know there are advocates, enthusiasts out there for bicycling who claim they do it 12 months out of the year.
They lie.
Who claim they do it when it's 20 below, and I've driven down, before they tore it up, University Avenue, and drove through the campus of the university there and saw somebody on a day when it was 10 below, and they, God bless them, they were out there in their bicycle, but it's not a practical transportation solution for the vast majority
Or what
of
if
people.
you're like me and you have a large family? Do you really think I'm going to walk to get my groceries?
Well, you need one of those carriers that you strap onto the back of it and pull them like a wagon.
Well, yes, there's that option too. Yeah, that's not going to happen.
But again, that's one of the features, not a bug of this. They want just less transportation. So if you're not able to make as many errands, or you have to combine several trips into one large trip when it's less convenient for you, they would see that as a benefit of this policy.
And there are actually many examples in the state of Minnesota of cities who are starting to use the complete streets policies.
Well, if you look on the website for the advocates, that would include the Minnesota Complete Streets Coalition and another group called Transit for Livable Communities. Well, they claim that there are 19 cities in the state that have adopted a complete streets policy, and 2 counties. So, and those cities and counties, when you add them together, they're well over half of the state's population, because it includes all the 4 or 5 largest cities in the state. And so they have been very successful as advocates for this policy in getting cities to adopt them, and where cities have initially refused to adopt them, going back again for more and more votes until the right result is produced.
And we're seeing St. Cloud, I know, was one city that said, no, we're not going to do complete streets. And then they came back and said, oh, wait a minute, now we're not going to not do it, we're going to rethink about it again.
Right.
North St. Paul was another one
example.
another example that happened to.